Hello, today we have some great tips for you for the month of May. We're going to start with some tree and shrub tips. If you have azaleas and other spring blooming shrubs in your landscape and they're finished blooming, now is a good time to fertilize them and do any pruning that might be necessary. Now we also want to watch out for insect pests. We've already seen some on the landscape. Aphids of course are quite common, and those can easily be controlled usually by just knocking them off with a hard stream of water. Be certain to look for lady beetles and other beneficial insects in the area. They often can do the job for you before you have to reach for an insecticide. Other insects that often pop up around May, often late May, are things like bagworms, elm leaf beetles. We may see them a little bit earlier this year since we've had such a mild winter and spring, so be on the lookout for those and be prepared to spray as necessary. A few other insects you might be watching for are lace bugs. Lace bugs can show up on azaleas, on sycamores, and pyracantha, etc. So just be on the lookout and be prepared to take care of those little pests. Now if you've had pine needle disease problems in the past, May is also a good time to spray those to protect them with a fungicide. Now annuals can also be planted now, your summer annuals for a great summer display, as well as your summer bulbs such as cannas, elephant ear, caladiums, dahlias, etc. Now for your turf areas, if you're maintaining cool season grasses in your landscape such as tall fescues and Kentucky bluegrass, we do some applications in the spring of fertilizer, and May would be your last application. If you didn't do any in March and April, definitely put one down now, early May, and then you wouldn't fertilize those again until the fall. For warm season grasses, you would continue to fertilize those as well. May would be another time for application, and usually we recommend about 1 pound of actual nitrogen per 1,000 square feet for our turf areas. Now if you're going to establish a new warm season grass such as buffalo grass, Bermuda grass, or zoysia grass from seed, you would do that from starting about mid-May through the end of June. That gives them plenty of time to germinate. The soils are warm for germination, and then they get well established and develop good cold hardiness or winter hardiness before the cooler temperatures in the fall. If you want to establish these warm season grasses from vegetative means such as sprigs, plugs, or sod, you can continue to do that as well. Now another problem we often see at this time of year is nutsedge. Now nutsedge is a weed that can be a difficult weed to control, and it can be found in both turf areas as well as landscape beds, and there are products labeled to control them, but you need to make sure that you read the labels carefully and make sure that it's labeled for the site that you're using it on. Some are labeled just for turf areas, some might be labeled for both landscape and turf areas, and you just want to make sure that you follow those label directions carefully. Now is the time to start hitting those with that post-emergent spray while the plants are still young and somewhat immature. The herbicides are much more effective that way. If you're maintaining water gardens in the landscape, now would be a good time to clean those out and get them ready for the summer. And as long as the temperatures in the water are above 50 degrees, you can start feeding your fish. And then finally, for fruits and vegetables, for the fruits, again, if you're maintaining fruit trees and small fruits in the garden, and you're on a spray program, continue that for the next several weeks so that you can ensure that you have good quality fruit. And in the vegetable garden, now's a good time to set out those warm season crops such as watermelon, cantaloupe, eggplant, and okra.